design and construction show in Vegas. I got the Build Show Network crew. We're gonna go out and see what's new and interesting and cool. I got Brent Hall, Stephanie Daly, Allison Anderson, Brian Euler, and Will King. Let's get going. All right, check it out, y'all. Greg with Fakro. What is this, Greg?
This is LET, electric operable automatic attic access ladder.
Brand new. Now show us how this works.
So to open it, you use a remote control. All I have to do, just hit open.
Look how thick that insulation is. What is that?
12.6 R value.
Woo!
It's thermal insulated.
Multiple weather stripping on that too.
It's a triple weather seal.
Yes.
So energy efficiency, this is the best thermal insulation product we have. Watch this.
I like this.
This is scissor type ladder, 350 pounds capacity. This is metal steel.
That's so cool,
With opening
Greg.
by itself.
I like that.
We love it too. When we saw this for the first time, we were amazed.
So when is this going to be available?
So this will be available later this year.
Okay.
We are estimating November of 2024. It will be available on the US market. We only have 7 different sizes. This one covers ceiling heights between 7 feet 5 inches up to 11 feet 1 inch.
And does it automatically adjust?
It will automatically adjust itself to the height of the ceiling. So right now, if you want to close it, all you have to do just use a remote control, and it will close by itself.
That's so cool, man.
Yep.
I like how they call it the Super Thermo too.
Super thermal, 12.6 R value. Doesn't get better than this.
That's pretty cool. Fakro, nice job, guys.
2-year warranty, best on the market.
That's really awesome. All right, so Greg, this is your showstopper here.
It is indeed.
But
it has been.
But similar ladder to your kind of original model, right?
It is.
Where the original model has maybe one less weather seal, slightly less R value, but obviously much less expensive to do a manual model, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us, I know I'm going to put you on the spot here, but can you give us any range for cost for some of these products?
Yeah, so the automatic version will be retail at about $3,500.
Okay.
The manual version, depending on the size, because we're going to have we have 7 different sizes, is going to run you anywhere between $900 to $1,300.
It's very reasonable. And I got to tell you, most attic ladders in Texas, at least, are really rickety pieces of garbage that are not worth installing. These
You got that right.
These are really well built, very nice ladders.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the comments.
Good stuff at Fakro.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, look who I ran into, the famous Larry Clay.
Famous?
Extremely famous.
You're the one who's famous.
I've made a couple of videos, but in Larry's neck of the woods, we're talking past president of the Canadian HBA. When I went to Vancouver, everyone knows Larry in Vancouver. You were a celebrity builder in Vancouver.
Well, everybody knows you here. Nobody knows me.
All right. So Larry, I got a Build Show sticker for you because you got the Boss shirt on, but I think a Build Boss would be even better.
When I went and bought the shirt, they had electricians, they had plumbers, and I picked this one.
What do you got for me?
Well, I have a sticker for you.
What's the sticker?
That's the Build Show.
The Build Show Live sticker. How about that?
Nice.
All right, so Larry, I've seen you use a lot of Rockwool in your jobs, and I was shocked by, frankly, when I visited Vancouver a couple years ago, how advanced a lot of the builders are there. You guys are doing an amazing job up there with really high performance.
Yes.
And I've heard that some of that has been driven by this 2029 code change.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so by 2032, all homes have to be step 5, net zero passive. So we routinely are putting a sweater of Rockwool around our home. So 2 inches up to 6 inches.
Holy cow, and check it out. On the display here, on the stage, they've got a couple great displays.
Yeah.
This would be a good wall assembly for Vancouver. You got a Delta Vent SA product, which is vapor open, which you guys need in your climate.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in there.
Please.
Is having a wall assembly that dries both directions is critical for long-term durability.
That's great. That's good advice.
And rain screen, by code since 2006, we always had to have rain screen.
How about that, man? The guys up in Vancouver, very progressive, that this is like a code assembly, not just a really awesome assembly. That's impressive, Larry. All right, let's check out a couple other assemblies here. This is kind of interesting. Rockwool in the cavity, and then they're showing, hey, here's how we could what's the word I'm looking for? Acoustically separate this space from here. And then they've got a below grade application. Are you using any, you guys do basements?
We do. We'll use it on the inside, but not so much on the outside. Okay. But it's a great application.
That makes sense. And then they're also showing some Rockwool in the floor assembly. You guys do crawl spaces, or do you guys typically do in-ground?
Typically in-ground full basements, but we certainly can use this under the slab as well.
Got it. Man, really fun to hang out with you, Larry. Impressive work, guys.
Matthew?
Go check out Larry on Instagram and Sean Stamore, who works with Larry. These guys are posting amazing videos all the time on Instagram. Some really top-notch builders.
I was going to brag about Sean for a second. Sean is amazing, and he is always bringing the culture of our team higher, so we love Sean.
Yeah, you guys do great work. The Clayway up in Vancouver, British Columbia, correct?
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us at the Rockwool booth, Design and Construction Week 2024.
See you next year.
Hey, y'all, coming to you from the Benjamin Obdyke booth. I've been friends with these guys for a long time. They got some really interesting products. New to them this year, Invisorap SA. This is meant for an open joint cladding system like what you're seeing here. They also have a batten available that's UV resistant. But check this out. This is peel and stick, which I'm a big fan of peel and sticks. It means that we're going to get good air tightness along with waterproofing. And they've really jumped on board with the acrylic adhesive. So this has an acrylic adhesive on the back, but UV stable. And by the way, it's 10 perm, so it's permeable, which is good. We want that in our northern climates, even more importantly. A couple other things that are interesting. They've had this on the market for a long time. This is a great one, and they have a great demo here. Basically a house wrap with kind of a dimple membrane on it. So HydroGap is going to make sure that if something gets past your, let's say your hardy plank that's on the house, it's going to have that drainage plane to drain and dry out rather than being uptight against your house wrap. Here's the product though that I really want to mention, because we're thinking about using this on the Reisinger build project. They're calling it Vapor Dry. Big rolls, but again, acrylic adhesive rather than asphalt based. And a couple things I like about this: vapor open, right? 12 perms, but rated up to 250 degrees. So we can use this underneath a metal roof. We can use this underneath the cedar roof. And now if there's moisture that needs to get out of the house, it needs to dry through here, we've got some permeability. Unlike some of the asphaltic products that are zero perm, that are basically a plastic on the outside. This gives you some additional forgiveness. When you use a cedar roof, you're gonna put their cedar breather product, which everyone kind of knows them because of their cedar breather. This is gonna make a great assembly. Also interesting to show, they've got this cold roof assembly for the really cold climate folks building in New England, where you've got insulation on the top, you've got basically a SIPS panel on the roof. You're going to use that same Vapor Dry here with their cedar breather, and then you're going to put another layer with another layer of Vapor Dry. It makes a thick assembly, but then you could use, let's say, a standard asphalt roof. This is a cool product. I'm excited about this Vapor Dry. Acrylic adhesive, vapor permeable, very few manufacturers make this.
If the house could talk, what might you complain about? Please. We pulled 100 builders. Squeaky floors, all right, taking it back to the team.
Recognizing the person who takes the elements head on. Hector and Marcella, you guys here? Come on up, there they are.
You guys figure out the response to Hector and Marcella. Go follow these guys at efficient_build. They're doing some great content and great work out. We're going to kick it off today with a little bit of Vantech talk. So raise your hand out there. Who's a fan of the Vantech subfloor?
It was like this sea of yellow across 18,000 square feet. So pretty cool to see it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of drone footage of Advantech over the years, but the yellow popping on that floor, that's very different. Brittany, what am I looking at with Advantech X Factor compared to regular Advantech?
Yeah, so Advantech is already a premium product. We're taking it to a whole nother level.
All right, guys, coming to you from the Pella booth. They've got a brand new innovation, and Will King and I actually had a big launch last night that was a lot of fun. Yep. With a kind of a PR launch on this, but this is called Steady Set. And Will, you've used their windows a long time, haven't you?
I have. I've been using Pella for probably 8 years, Matt. So
but
almost
this
exclusively.
innovation, Will, is totally different. I've never seen any manufacturer with anything like this before.
No, this is a brand new innovation. I personally, it's going to change the whole industry of how we look at installing windows. So
it's huge.
This is wild. Something you've never seen before.
For sure. So let's walk these guys through what Steady Set is. First off, most windows over the years, we have some kind of nailing flange on the outside, right? And we're carrying that window up a ladder. Let's say if we're installing a second floor window. Yep. We've got some strong people outside holding that window up. We've got people with a screw gun. They're trying not to lose their footing on the ladder. They're outside. They're precarious. This window, on the other hand, totally changes the game because this window, even though it's got, you're gonna see in a second, a flashing flange, does not have a nailing flange. It's actually installed from the inside. So let's walk these guys through this, Will. These brackets, how do these work?
So they come, as you see here, so it's gonna be face to the inside, but you're gonna pull them out like you just did, and you just flip it. And so once you flip it around, and you're gonna get this based off, this is for a 2x4 wall.
Okay.
But if you're gonna do a 2x6 wall, you'd get the right clip. That's gonna get your reveal perfect on the inside. And they lock in, you'll hear it click. And so the structural connection now is on the inside of the window or inside of the house, not the outside. So
we're gonna do that with all 4 of those clips to start with, and we don't need to do that right now. In fact, let's show these guys on this sample window up here. It might be a little easier to see on this small guy. So let's say all those clips now are flipped. Here's where the big innovation comes from, is the window now is going to install from the inside of the building.
That's right.
So now check this out. This is really cool. This will come off and reveal a continuous flashing flange.
All the way around.
I like this, Will.
All one piece. So
how many times have you seen windows that had a flexible flange?
Never.
Where when you opened it, you had this kind of open corner. And when you're inside looking out, you see that pinhole, even if you put that corner pad on.
For years, I've put extra flashing tape right here on my windows, but now you don't have to do it because this whole thing is going to move out.
This looks really nice and waterproof. So now, our zip tape, our flashing tape, whatever we're doing is going to adhere to this. And also, by the way, this is flexible, so we have a little bit of forgiveness built into the system. And this is flexible in the corner too. So this can be, if your framing was a little bit off, if your sheathing was a little thicker, a little thinner, this is going to adapt to that and make a really nice flashing flange. Now, another piece of this kind of puzzle I think is really cool is these teeth up here. Do you know what they call these?
So it's just a head clip. So basically, when you set this window in, you're going to put it in the bottom of the window first, and then or the bottom of the opening. And then when you push it in, this is just a friction clip. So basically, it keeps the window from being able to come back on top of you.
Got it.
So it really makes it a one-man installation at that point because you're eliminating 2 people trying to fight it from falling out of the house like you would from the outside. So from the inside, it's going to hold it in. So just a little friction clip.
Now, one thing I was concerned about though, are these just regular pine windows, or what is this?
So they have different species of wood they use depending on what you're ordering, but this is going to be just a pine window. But so it's treated though, and that's the part. Pella's been really good at wood windows for a long time, but it's in DuraGuard. And so this finger jointed pine, they actually treat each piece of wood before they join it together. And to my knowledge, the only one in the industry doing that. So you get a lot of protection, even though it is a wood window.
That's pretty neat.
It's a treat.
Now, a couple other innovations I want to mention too, Will. They've made the bottom part of that flashing flange kind of corrugated so that it makes sure it doesn't stay tight to the building, which means if we got some water on that sill pan, you got to put your sill pans in, it'll leak out. They've also stamped on there, do not seal, don't tape this shut, right? We want to let that water out. And another thing I thought was cool, Will, is they've got these plastic shims,
They're built in now, so you don't have to shim them yourself. They're actually going to come with that to keep it up off the pan. So
these are, I think, drainage. A 1/4 inch is what they told us, which also allows you to put a pry bar in there. And if your sill is not flat, you could pry the window and get it set. I'll tell you what, Will, last night at the press event, I had to install a window by myself while you ran the track.
I tried to beat you in the Porsche, but you were able to beat me. You see these times behind us? I mean, you can do it a lot faster than I can go 4 laps.
I got to say, for a one-man install and for an install inside the building rather than on a ladder, very, very fast time.
Right.
So in less time than it took Will to do 5 miles on a Porsche, on a pretty windy course, I'll give him that. I was able to set a window in like 4 minutes by myself, and I'd never really done that before. How about we give these guys a quick install
we can
over here?
Throw it in. So
I'll move it over here. You can move that over. I like the Grabo clips on there, or Grabo suction, by the way.
It's nice. All right, so we got one clip already turned around, but we got to flip these around.
Okay.
So that's the first thing you're going to do.
And these have a positive engagement when you pop them in, which is really nice.
You can hear the click.
Yep.
You know, Matt, and one of the things like that the biggest deal to me about it is that we're totally flush on the inside now. How many times have you seen trim carpenters bust out drywall going around the window?
Totally.
This is going to totally eliminate that. So, all right, so we got to flip it around. So then first thing we got to do is just set it in the hole. So,
and you're going to set it sill first.
Yep. And then notice here when we go in with our top, this friction clip's going to catch, right?
Okay. Yep.
So, there we go.
Check that out. And those clips now at the top are holding, so this isn't going to fall in. If the wind caught it, it's not going to catch us. Now, those obviously are not for final engagement. You're actually going to need to screw this in. Let's put one or two screws in just to hold it. There's going to be 12 screws around, 2 per clip. And of course, that probably would vary, I suspect, if they had a bigger window.
I got the wrong bit.
Oh, that's funny.
They gave me the wrong bit. So that was the right one.
Just throw 1 or 2 in there, and then we'll show these guys the flashing. So this is not a window install video, by the way. Normally we're gonna put a level on the sill and the jamb.
Right.
We're gonna shim it as necessary. We're really showing you the innovation here, not the install. So we're just gonna put 2 on there. And check out this cool display that they've got. You can actually flop this thing around where you pop your pin over there. So now we can see the outside. Okay, so you do need a ladder in the end if this is a 2nd-story window. But we only need that ladder for flashing tape. The window is set at this point. It's structurally sound. It's not going anywhere. And then all we do, Will, is grab these things and pop them off.
That's right. That's going to keep that flexible flange tight to the window during install. So really, when you're going through the opening, you don't run the risk of tearing it. So you're going to kind of roll it to the outside a little bit.
Roll it to the outside.
Oh, I'm sorry, to the inside. Yeah, I messed you
up. Roll
there.
it to the inside?
Yeah.
There we go. Took me a second. Okay.
Yep.
And then that thing just kind of unfolds, and check out those cool folded corners, man. That is so awesome.
Yeah. So now if you're the one man on the ladder, all you're having to do is grab this tape, and then you're just going to be taping that flange down.
And so pretty straightforward. I don't know that we need to flash the whole thing, Will, but basically you would do your side jams first and stop those just above your header.
You can show them one.
Yeah. There you go, brother.
Obviously,
and this is obviously not real flashing tape. This is a demo tape because this isn't a real WRB. So we're going to tape both sides down, and then we're going to tape off the head here.
Right, so you go across the top.
After we did both sides, and now you're going to see this is a fully flashed installed window.
Yep.
Very impressive.
And no fasteners on the outside.
I mean, steady set. This is going to make it a lot safer on the job site.
It will.
How about cost? How much of an ad is this?
So they told us last night, Matt, it's actually going to be the same cost as like their bluefin window, which is their traditional nailing flange. So to buy this now, 0 cost difference. So
How about that?
It's not even an upgrade. So it's just going to be the standard. So.
This is one of those things that you're like, why did anyone think of this before? This is so smart, right?
I know, it's awesome. I'm excited.
Very impressive, guys. Big deal from Pella. Go check this out. This is available, from my understanding, nationwide.
Yep, it'll be available this summer.
This summer, nationwide. And I'm going to be building a house that our windows are just about on order with Steady Set that we're going to be building from. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Will.
Yep, absolutely.
Brian Euler, you know we like talking about insulation on the Build Show.
Yes, thermal is like the #1 topic.
Yeah, we talk a lot about it. So we're back at the Atlas booth. By the way, Brian, these guys are sponsoring the Reisinger build. I'm doing a 24-part episode, 24-part series on a brand new house in Austin. You'll have to come out and visit it. It's going to be the show house for Build Show Live, and all our insulation on our on our top of slab, on our walls, on our roof. We're going to be using some different Atlas products. So let me tell you about a few of them that are brand new. First off, Brian, Energy Shield XR. This is a very high R value poly ISO. I actually forget the R value per inch, but it's probably going to say right here, look.
Yep.
2 inches, it gives us R13.1.
That's pretty impressive.
This is an under slab one, but we're going to be using it top of slab. So I've got an existing slab, we're adding on to the slab. Have you seen the Steve Basic detail that he does this?
Like the foam-free slab or what have? Not foam-free, concrete-free.
Concrete-free. No, we could use it in that situation, but I'm pouring a full slab and I'm dropping this Energy Shield XR on top of my slab, and then I'm going to do 2 layers of Advantech on top.
Yep.
I'll thermally break my entire slab with this product. It's also a real high PSI. This is like 25 PSI.
Yep.
So we're not going to be able to compress this product. It's going to be really nice for that. Also intended for below grade, real high R value per inch. Good stuff. You got something else that's cool from these guys.
Yeah, so one of the things, even like if you're trying to bring your ductwork in conditioned space, but you do still distribute in the attic, is how do you get insulation over the top of it?
Yeah, or like a retrofitting too.
Exactly. Yeah, and you still want airflow.
Yep.
So you'll usually put a nail, your structural sheathing to have that roof diaphragm.
Yep.
But then what they have is kind of an all-in-one product, which I always like.
This is a fiber reinforced facer. Yep.
Okay, so the foam is the same, facing's a little different.
Yep.
And then what they have in here is kind of like your styrofoam cup, but it's a higher compressive strength.
Yeah, this is like geofoam, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you were doing like you know, industrial civil engineering projects, which we're not doing, if you try squeezing that, it doesn't squeeze like a styrofoam.
Yeah, that's legit.
So then this ends up being your nail base over the top for your cladding.
Yeah, and then, so like you're nailing your shingles on here, let's say, but you've got that air gap on there. And if you check out their chart, it's a bit of an eye test here, Brian, but they've got this in 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch air spaces. Plus, they can vary the thickness on this AC foam right here. So we can get this 1 inch up to, I'm not even sure, but quite a bit of thickness. Yeah. So then you've got this thick panel that you're either gonna nail or screw down into your rafters. So this would be a great way to retrofit if you're making a conditioned attic from an old house.
And it is cross-ventilated.
Yeah.
So you can see it come through
both
here.
ways.
But then you've got the cross ventilation through there.
That's pretty sweet. So we can get some ventilation from our eave all the way out our ridge vent.
Exactly.
All the way through that under roof.
Yep.
That's really best practice when we're roofing. We want that vent space for that forgiveness in the system.
It might also keep your cladding cooler.
Yep.
Which is a nice thing from an energy perspective.
That's right. Always good to hang out with my friends at Atlas. We're here at Design and Construction Week 2024.
What's up, guys? I'm Stephanie Daly.
And I'm Matt Reisinger. We're at the Westlake Royal Building Products booth, and we got CJ, the head product guy here.
CJ, this new siding product you've got is great. Tell us a little bit about what you have here at the show today.
Well, at the show we're introducing a new product, V-Groove siding. This product can be done horizontally or vertically, and it offers all the same benefits as the rest of the Select line.
So this is a PVC product, right?
Yes.
But this doesn't seem like traditional PVC. I mean, this is really thick. It feels really strong to me, CJ.
Yeah, so this is a cellular composite core, and the cellular composite core is quite cool because it absorbs virtually no water. And water is the enemy of low maintenance siding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of low maintenance, how low a maintenance are we talking here?
Well, the thing that we also do is we coat it with a Kynar finish. Kynar finish are renowned for their UV stability, which means we're so confident in this performance that we offer a 25-year warranty.
Oh my gosh, a 25-year warranty?
25-year fade warranty, yes.
Fade warranty too, not just chipping or peeling, but like it's not going to fade for 25 years.
Right.
Wow.
That's got to be one of the lowest maintenance products you could have on the outside of your house.
We believe it is, yes.
That's pretty cool. Now show us, how does it work exactly? It looks like there's some kind of tongue and groove at the butt joints. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so we've got a gravity lock here. This gravity lock does 3 cool things. First of all, it's great for installation. So when you put it on the wall, simply drop it down. Second thing it does, it gives very high wind resistance because you, in essence, have 2 points of attachment to the wall.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's
and
great.
the third thing it does, it creates an air gap that allows any moisture that gets behind the siding to evaporate out. So you've got a good wall system.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really cool product. I love how it kind of goes together. And
Yep. The other cool thing is the seam. That we think is the best seam in the industry because we've got this interlocking seam that's proprietary to our product line. So we're proudly showing it.
Is
Most
that
people
cool.
hide their seams.
is that what we're seeing here?
Yeah,
Is that
that's the
interlock?
other half. Yep.
Now I'm noticing that nailing flange there looks pretty wide. I'm guessing that this is a product that will move and expand on us
It's
over
PVC,
time.
so it'll expand and contract. And because we put the panels together, you've got to have a pocketed system.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
We have a full trim package that is addressing all of that.
Okay, so all the trim has a pocket to
All the trim has
to
a
basically
pocket.
take that movement and pocket in so you don't see it. And how much movement are we talking?
It depends on the length of the wall, but
Sure.
it could be up to an inch of movement for a 30-foot exposure.
Gotcha. So we need to account for that to
Yes.
make sure we don't have problems. But if you install it correctly, that's some serious low maintenance. And how many colors do you guys have on this product?
We offer 15 colors, and we've introduced 3 new on-trend colors to the line.
Oh,
at the
very
booth.
cool. Okay,
That's
I
an
like
amazing
it.
product.
Very cool.
Huge color
Select.
variety.
Select.
All right, now CJ, I would be remiss if we didn't spend a minute on one of my favorite Westlake products.
Okay.
Which is the True Exteriors. Let's meet these guys over and show them that if you're not familiar with True Exteriors, we'll meet you over there.
Awesome.
All right, CJ, Matt, tell me a little bit about this True Exterior product. I haven't had the opportunity to use it yet, but I am loving what I'm seeing.
I've seen it a lot. You know, Stephanie, I visited Wade Paquin, and he's used it on a bunch of projects. And this is a, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, this is a polymer and fly ash, am I saying that right? A poly ash product?
A poly ash product, correct.
So this is not going to absorb water.
Right.
It has some recycled content with the fly ash, and otherwise fly ash is really, there's not a lot of use for it, right?
Right.
So it's a particularly great use to put this into our siding. And the carpenters that I've seen that have used it feel like it cuts, it works, it tools just like wood. And it's really satisfying for carpenters.
Yes, no, it's 70% recycled content, as you said, and it works as well as wood, or better than wood, in fact. And we have a range of siding profiles, like the 5-inch or 6-inch nickel gap.
Yep.
Channeled siding and a cove siding amongst 3 of the 7.
Now this is not pre-finished though. We're going to finish this on the site, right? So our carpenters can mill it, we can do whatever we need to, but we are going to paint this on the site. However, because it's not absorbing moisture, and I believe it doesn't have a lot of expansion and contraction. Am I wrong about that?
Minimal expansion contraction, yes. So you can hard nail it, you can bevel the corners, and all kinds of neat things.
Yeah, and also means that paint film is going to stay on there a long time,
yes,
right?
For sure.
Very cool. This is one of our favorite products from the build show, is this True Exteriors. I absolutely love it. If you're not familiar with it, you should definitely check it out. And I suspect you guys will have more and more profiles over time as well.
I hope so, yes. Can't disclose it now, though.
CJ, you guys have some great new stuff at the booth. We also looked at a few things over on the other side that I was really impressed with. Some really cool stuff here at Westlake Royal Building Products. Thanks for joining us, guys. All right, before we leave the Westlake Royal booth, we talked about Select. This is an interesting companion product, also PVC, but I really like how they've got some really nice wood profiles. I think if this was your soffit, you would absolutely not know that this was not real wood. And check out these beautiful styles. They got some really cool new stuff here at the Westlake Royal Building Products booth.
Hey, Build Show. Steve Basic Architect. Yeah, we are out at the International Builders Show 24, and we are at the Warmboard booth. And we're going to catch up with Brian. Hey, Brian, pleasure to catch you up here with you here at the Warmboard booth. Now, we are huge fans of the Radiant Floor System. We've put a lot of them in, Build Show, Build Boston. If you haven't seen it, go check out that series. A lot of my clients around the country are loving that system. But one of the questions that always comes up is, hey, Steve, that really solves our heating problems, but what about cooling? What do we do for that? And usually the answer is, well, we have to put in a duct system, and we can put in, you know, some heat pumps, whatever the case, but I'm told you've solved that problem for us.
Well, we've been getting that same question for the entire time we've been around as well, you know, well over 20 years now. And so when we wanted to come out with our cooling solution, we wanted to make sure that it retained all the same benefits of our heating system. So when you have radiant heating, you get zonable comfort. So every room is individually controlled by its own thermostat and can shut off and on by itself.
Right.
So the next solution that we want to come out with, we want to have it be zonable as well. So this hydronic fan coil system that we came out with, you put one of these in every room, maybe 2 into a big room.
Okay.
It runs cold water from an air-to-water heat pump that sits outside.
Okay.
It draws air off the bottom and delivers it in a horizontal register out the top. This tucks away and is hidden behind your drywall in a 2x6 wall with a 24-inch stud opening.
Gotcha.
This is all the ductwork that you need. It's prefabricated and we ship it direct to your job
It's
site.
provided by you.
It's provided by us. All of the products that you buy when you buy our system, we provide all of the material, except for some of the basic components like copper, which we'll buy outside.
Yeah.
So with every system that you buy, you get multiple shipments as the course of construction develops. So with our panel radiant system, you get that in the framing package as you're framing your floor.
Right.
You get your tubes and your manifolds with the plumbing of the house.
Right.
And then when you're ready to install the boiler and the controls, we ship you that in your third shipment. This new fan coil system is not only comfortable because of the zonability, but also because of the way that we deliver the air. In most traditional air conditioning systems, you have a top-down register that dumps cold air right on top of you.
And usually if you put your hand up there, you can feel there's some decent velocity.
And you're going to be buffeted by it, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to hear it. And people often complain that it, wakes them up at night and dries you out.
Yeah.
With this system, we have a horizontal register that's right next to the ceiling.
Right.
So it shoots air out 22 feet into a room and then gracefully descends into the space without you hearing it or feeling it. So again,
and somewhat in a uniform nature, right?
Exactly.
Right.
It's got a really good mixing because we're drawing air off the bottom and we're supplying it off the top.
So it's not like there's a 20-inch stream that goes across the room and kind of flares out just a little.
Very diffused and even throughout the entire space. And that's, again, what the benefit of radiant is. Radiant's very even heat.
Yeah.
You have it all across your floor. Your whole floor heats up. And with this, we want it to be very even cooling. So in that zone, you won't feel a hot and a cold spot. It's just the entire space is gracefully cooled. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we try to keep true to with our company is that we try and minimize the complexity and the labor that's involved with these. So we will design and specify and engineer the entire system for you. The control system is just simply a thermostat that plugs into a J-box. And we already pre-assigned this thermostat to know that it's communicating with this fan coil and that radiant floor.
Gotcha.
So it knows it's the master bedroom or the bathroom, and there's no control specialist required anymore.
So basically the loop in the floor and the loop to the air handler or fan coil here are both controlled by that.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I really like that you've done is you've taken the standard system for heating the water in the floor system, and you piggybacked that mechanical system to solve for the cooling.
Correct.
Right, I don't have to buy a separate system that delivers cold water. We're gonna be using a system that can deliver hot water or cold water. It's just whatever the choice is.
Correct. So with the heat pump, that can generate hot and cold water.
Right.
That's if you want to go all electric. If you have access to gas and you prefer to run your heat off your gas, we can do that as well. We run the heat pump for the cold water, and you run your boiler, which is either gas or propane,
For
that'll
the
do
hot
your
water.
heating. And that's another awesome thing about the controllability and zonability of a system, is that when you have the ability to deliver heat and cold to every zone, you get truly the ultimate comfort system.
Right.
Because in my own house, the kitchen heats up in the morning as the sunlight starts hitting it, and I don't need heating in there anymore, but I need a little bit of cooling. On the other side of my house, it's still shaded and I need heating still. So we didn't want you to have to sacrifice and pick which rooms you wanted to be comfortable in.
Yeah. And that really makes a lot of sense, because there are some rooms when, especially a lot of the houses I do are super energy efficient. So some rooms are getting heated by the sunlight. Some are on the north side of the building in the northeast that get a little cooler than that room in the sun. So having this in that room with the sun, we can just kind of compartmentalize the house based on this system per room and really attack the heated rooms while the other rooms just maybe the heat or cooling doesn't even come on.
Exactly, and especially like in a guest bedroom where you're not occupying it, you can actually shut that zone to be very, very low energy use.
Right.
And that way that's a lot of the energy efficiency you get from zonability. Is just you are not having to blast the whole house every time you need cooling.
Gotcha.
You get to just do an individual zone.
And this has its own filter.
Correct.
So.
And it's tucked away behind an access panel that you can hide behind a...
Put a dresser, put a bed there or
Exactly.
something. We'll
Correct.
figure out a great place to put it. But anyways, we can wrap this up. I love the fact that the zonability is there. I like the fact that it's compartmentalized. One stud bay solves the problem. And I really love the idea that it piggybacks on the system that's going to make my hot water can also make my cold water from the same outdoor unit.
Best of both worlds.
So we're getting the best of everything. And you know, I know when I first talked to you guys always talked about completing the system. Well, I think we're well on our way.
We're not done yet. We have some more stuff coming out in the future, but this is the next thing for us.
This is a great next step. So I thank you for your time. I'm Steve Basic Architect. This is the International Build Show, the Warmboard booth, and this is the latest technology.
Hi, I'm Brian with Pioneer Builders, and I am here at the 2024 International Builder Show Best Of. There's a new insulation product that I'm going to be using. I've seen something similar in Europe, but now it's here in North America, and I really want to show it to you.
Yeah.
This is Timber HP. This is my buddy Dan
Brian.
Edelman.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
So, Timber HP, what does the HP stand for?
So HP stands for High Performance, Healthy Planet, and Healthy People.
I love it. That's actually something that I'm focused on more, is the more holistic approach to health. We talk so much about healthy products, healthy indoor air quality, but even us being healthy people. how we live our life. So this could be a really good component to just being a healthy person.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about this, and maybe I'll ask you some questions for some characteristics or common questions other people might have.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at?
So this is wood fiber insulation. So it's been around in the European market now for about 20 or 30 years. Basically, it's $1 billion industry over there.
Sure.
We're the first North American manufacturing facility that there is.
And you say North America, is it in California? Where is it manufactured?
So right now we're up in Maine.
Okay.
So we ended up taking over an old paper mill. So the paper mill, the paper industry in general has been on a decline.
Sure.
So we took over an old paper mill. They were getting the same waste wood or the residual waste wood from the lumber mill industry. So we're not cutting down any trees here. What we're doing, we're actually just they're making dimensional lumber, so they're removing the bark off the trees.
Okay.
They're basically making square pieces of wood in a round log. So there's a lot of wood chips that are left over. All these wood chips were going into the paper mill industry.
Sure.
7 paper mills in the state of Maine closed down in the last 7 years. So we took over one of those. We basically take these chips, we steam them, we shred them up with some metal plates, then we add a liquid borate, and the liquid borate actually is very unique for the product. A lot of the products that you see that use borate is a dry borate.
Right.
Whereas because it's a cellulose product, it actually absorbs that borate very nicely. And what the borate does, it gives it its fire resistance, it gives the bug resistance, and also mold and mildew resistance. So
Very
those
cool.
3 things. And it is a natural product. We have some nice articles on our website about
Which I've read.
what borate. Yes, you did. Yes, you
I've
did.
gotten into the details. Even it gets into some of the molecular stuff with Randy Williams.
Yes,
Yeah, he
yes,
talked
our
about
good friend
that.
Randy Williams.
So that's kind of cool. There's a labor story. There's a human story to it as well then, as far as laying people off. Also repurposing a manufacturing facility instead of mothballing it, and then who's going to clean it up in the future?
Yeah.
Now, what about its thermal characteristics?
Yep.
Is it comparative with stone insulation, fiberglass, that kind of thing?
So we do have different products with different R values. So this is our timber fill. This is simply those wood chips ground down with the borate. This is what we start with, dense pack application or attic. Basically this is about a 3.8 R value per inch.
Okay.
Then what we do, we actually have a polyester fiber that we put into the bat, and that's what really just holds it all together.
Kind of like a binder?
A binder,
Okay.
yeah, definitely a binder. What's nice is it's a very flexible binder, and the full bats that we have, you could flex them almost perfectly, and they're not going to crack or anything.
Yeah.
So they're very durable. The R value for this is going to be an R14 for 2x4, R22 for 2x6, which I have over here, and an R30 7.25 inch bat.
Okay.
So yeah, so the other nice thing about working with this product is it's not itchy.
Right.
So even in our safety SDS reports, you don't need to wear long sleeves or gloves.
Yep.
So it's very nice for the installers too, and that's part of our healthy people.
I love it.
Process.
That is such an important thing for me. I have employees, and you want to take care of them. You don't want them to be 50 years old coughing all the time because they've gotten some glass fiber.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not good. STC, sound, what is it? Sound transmission class?
That's correct.
How does this affect sound transmission?
So yeah, STC rating on a 2x4 wall is going to be a 50.
Okay.
So anything with sheer density and mass is going to be the best thing for sound.
Yep.
So because this is actually one of the densest insulations on the market, even denser than like a mineral bat, it's actually going to be a higher STC rating.
So if you're an architect and you're designing multi-family units, make sure that you think about that. In single-family residences, we might not be thinking about it quite so much. And then this is a board product that I'm especially excited about. Tell us just maybe a little bit about the application of the board product.
Yeah, so thermal insulation again for continuous. Now with code really changing to that continuous insulation, framers are typically the ones that are going to be installing this product. They already have all the tools because it's a wood product.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a very easy easy application, and they cut it, they could bend it around everything. The nice thing is the rigidity of this.
I can't bend it.
So it's going to basically be a It's going to be an R3.7 per inch for this, but there's no off-gassing.
Yeah.
The other big benefit, it's vapor open.
Yes, and which is especially important if you're putting it on the roof top, because that's the way the moisture, which is buoyant, is going to want to naturally go.
Yes.
And you don't want to trap that up there.
Correct, yeah. Yep. So you do, we'd still recommend rain screens and everything else. Get that airflow where you want airflow and not have airflow in the cavities when you don't need it.
So it's also carbon sequestering. What that basically means is if you burned wood, immediately you're releasing the carbon into the atmosphere. As the trees grow, they're pulling the carbon out of the atmosphere and then it gets locked into that wood product. So it's carbon sequestering. That's another very important part of this story. And what people are going to think is, what about fire? Why would I want fire in my walls, and on my roof? So let's get rid of that myth. What have you done to handle fire?
So the liquid borate, and that really does, and there's a video right behind me now. And basically it's still, wood does not have a melting temperature. So there's no melting temperature of wood. So it takes a long time for it to finally burn through.
Will this char?
Our material. It will char, very similar to what you see there.
Yeah.
It will char, but it's not going to ever carry a flame, and that's really what the borate does. So our ASTM E84 test is a Steiner tunnel test.
Cool.
And that basically, we light a flame on one side and it travels down. If it was a flammable product, it would travel down. Ours, it doesn't travel down at all.
That, it's almost like a beam, or if you're out in the woods and you've got a log.
Yes.
It chars, and I think it has almost an insulated property from the fire, is how
it
wood
does,
works.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Shoshogi-ban.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks so much. Oh, by the way, I just got done playing some solitaire, so I'm glad that I had this. I'm not a gambler, but I do solitaire. Anything else we should know about your product, distribution, that kind of thing?
So right now we're nationally distributed. So really, we have a great team. You could go to our website, timberhp.com, contact us. I think that's really the best way of getting in touch with myself. We're also big into the building science, vapor open, airtight assemblies, and just creating the entire assembly. We have the 1 hour rated assemblies, 2 hour, but also just your exterior wall.
Well, Dan, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much. Timber HP 2024 International Builder Show. A lot of cool stuff here. This is a product worth checking out.
Come over here to the Roseburg booth and we will get going. So what we're going to be talking about today is framing in an accessible doorway. So we're doing a lot of renovations these days, a lot of remodels. We want to see people start to get to a point where they are aging in place. Accessible doorways are really, really common thing that we're doing in remodels. Roseburg has gone ahead and made this a little easier, so we're not using as many power tools. They have an LVL header that they're going to be using. Guys are just getting ready to wrap this last little bit of it up, but you can see how simple it is to go through and do framing changes.
Show us what those tools are. Oh, absolutely. So, and Matt, really to kind of set this up, the know better, build better, right? That's really...
All right, y'all. Brian Euler and I visiting the InSoFast booth. You guys remember Ed, the founder of the company, the main inventor. Ed, I love hanging out with you, dude. Good to see you here at IBS. Now, Brian, you don't know a lot about these products, right?
A little bit, but you're going to tell me stuff.
So Ed, how about I tell him about your products, and if I mess up, why don't you jump in?
Sounds great.
Okay, so first off, if you're going to do an exterior insulation job, Brian, you got a mock-up over here. What do you need to do exterior insulation?
So there are so many layers. I think like a cake and onion have layers, so does this wall. You've got your OSB, WRB, cap nails, structural sheathing, furring strips, the little mesh there, 2 different types of insulation, more tape here, and a bug screen at the bottom.
Yeah, and then you've also got something to actually attach your siding with. I like this, Ed. This really, it's funny, I've done that a bunch. But if you think about it, boy, there are a lot of layers.
Yeah.
And so Ed's an incredible inventor. He thought of all this stuff probably in the shower one day and then figured it out. That's where I do my best thinking. Check this out. This is called your Max panel, right?
Correct.
And so this could be used in a basement, but for an exterior continuous insulation, here's the panel on the wall on this display. And so Brian, there's a lot going on here, but first off, there's grooves on the back here, so there's some drainage up against the WRB. They're showing zip, which you and I like for a WRB, an air tightness layer. And then this panel gets applied. Tell me the sheet size again.
This is 4 foot by 8 foot.
4
foot by 2 foot.
Okay, 2 by 4. 2 by 4 sizes put on the wall, which also, by the way, means they can actually ship this via UPS right to your job site, right?
Correct.
Which is kind of nice. And these panels are 15.9, Brian. And embedded in the panel, you can kind of see it right here, is basically a stud. This is some type of polymer. I'm sure Ed doesn't want to know his secret sauce, but check it out. They got a great display, Brian, where it'll take all kinds of different options and really holds to them.
It almost looks like a smooth roofing nail here.
Yep.
You've got a spiral shank, a couple of screws, and those things aren't coming out.
No, I mean, these are serious on there. And that's all the way through continuous. Everywhere you see the word InSoFast, this is basically, are these 16-inch on center, or are they 2
Yeah,
foot?
16 will be coming out with the 2 foot later in the year.
Okay, so these are 16 on center, and those give you a nail base so that you could nail on your siding, screw on your cladding, whatever. And on the back of the panel, Brian, check this out. That nail base is continuous, and they've added some kind of V-shaped, pyramid-shaped pieces on the back. So this could be glued on a concrete wall, use some PL Premium on there. Or on this display, they're showing that we're actually screwing that into the structure. And now you've got a continuous 15.9. And I like this display that you've made. You showed, 16-inch or advanced framing. That's great and all, and you're certainly going to save some energy by doing advanced framing, but you're going to get 10x or more the energy savings by going continuous insulation.
Well, and you might have commented on it, but there's these grooves on the front too.
Yep.
That should help with your siding. If you're doing lap siding, you're going to have better drying. Your paint should basically stay fresh longer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so what do you do as far as the metal? You can do a retrofit, but what would you do for your flashing around a window?
As a matter of fact, he's got a display, Brian.
Well, go figure.
He may have teed you up, Ed.
With that, we've got the continuous insulation going all the way up to the window, which is what you want. And also on the bottom, the only difference is this is sloped at an angle for your drainage for the sill.
Gotcha.
We have the metal profile that can be adjusted to your, that can be the profile to your window. So you got the matching colors, and then the side flashing just goes into place. This gives you attachment right at the side, so this will actually have one of the same screws going through there into the sheathing, and then this would be just fastened to the studs along the bottom. So you've got a clean system
now you're
ready for siding.
Now you guys don't sell that though, so you can get the profiles for them. They've got drawings for all those. Just have your roofer bend that, your sheet metal guy bend that. You guys have a metal guy that's going to bend for you.
We got a shop.
Yeah, those are all pretty straightforward to bend. And what's cool about this too, I like, Brian, that this is really the same product that they would use in a basement.
Yep.
And they're also being able to use that same product on the outside.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm a new home builder, but there's way more existing homes that need to be upgraded than what I can possibly build to take care of the United States.
Yeah.
So existing basements, if you're recladding your outside, this is relatively easy to put on.
InSoFast, man. You guys make some great stuff. Ed, thank you so much for having us out to the booth. We'll put a link to these guys in the description below, but stay tuned for more from Design and Construction Week 2024.
We are at the Quickflash booth, something that I've used in my construction, building homes, but we have Eric here and he's going to talk about some things that honestly I never examined the product this carefully. So maybe give us a high-level overview of this particular product here.
So
what are we looking at?
So the nice thing about Quickflash is we make weatherproofing flashing panels for typically any penetration on the side of the house. So this one right here is particulars for like your hot and your water cold lines, 1/2 inch. And as you can see, we actually have some other panels here kind of geared up for HVAC and mini split systems and line sets.
Let me ask you a question. What is this? Is this a rubber product or what's this in here?
Yeah, so this is actually a rubber product mounted to the kind of a plastic panel itself. It comes with basically a 10-year warranty. It's super simple to install. Typically just mount it on the side of the building, run your plumbing through it, which kind of hold it in place, and then just do a flashing tape on the sides and on top. This way it gets a nice watertight, airtight kind of a seal to it.
So let me just point something out. This is not something that you would typically see done. I think there's just one part of the country that would typically do it. This would be like if you had an exterior mounted water heater, an on-demand. That's why they've got the hot and the cold lines in here. But what's nice about this is it's a caulkless seal.
Yep.
If you come in closely, you can see that. If you're an installer and you're using caulk, it's really easy to get the top part, but when you're air sealing, you have to be way more detailed, and it's easy to just leave a little pinhole that you haven't taken care of.
Yep.
So this basically self-gaskets, which is pretty nice. So again, that was the plumbing. Oh, one other thing that I thought was interesting. There is a builder out there that uses this for their solar panels, and they are running either their electrical wires or conduit. I'm not sure exactly what they're running through there, but it's the same idea. Now, would this be for line sets?
Yeah, correct. So this would kind of be for your air conditioning system. Again, mounted on the side of the house, run your line sets up through this rubber boot, gives it a nice airtight, watertight seal. Don't have to worry about like critters and pests kind of crawling up there and getting inside the house. And obviously allowing, you know, the water to kind of, you know, fall off as opposed to kind of enter the building. So just a nice price point panel in itself. And obviously, you know, comes with a 10-year warranty as well as everything else.
It's kind of bulletproof, which I appreciate. Is there a difference? Is it just an architectural feature?
Yeah, just depending on how you want the look of the house to be. Both panels are paintable, so you can obviously match the house if you want to. It's just kind of depending on the situation, whether you want it to stick out a little bit further or not at the end of the day. So.
And I think maybe we can just step over here real quick. So we covered some water supplies.
Yep.
We covered HVAC. Now you've got some bonding with your gas pipe.
Gas line, exactly.
Yep.
So obviously the biggest thing with the gas pipe is if it's not bonded, God forbid, you know, something sparks and you have some kind of an explosion there. And as you can see down here lower, we have one actually for electrical wire.
Yeah.
So like as I mentioned in the beginning, really any penetration on the side of the house, Quickflash kind of has the solution to solve the problem. We don't want water and moisture getting behind that building and, you know, doing what it does and tearing things apart. So.
Okay. Is there anything coming down the pike that you can tell us about? Give us an inside scoop.
We do have a couple new products. We're working on a couple new electrical boxes, which I think are going to be pretty slick. We're hoping they kind of get released sometime in the summer, hopefully July or August. And then we actually have, like I guess you would call them kind of commercial versions of the HVAC shields. More and more people are looking to do like 2 air conditioning units or 2 mini split units. So we're actually going to make this as a pair, both in this unit and in this unit as well.
Yep.
So that again, hopefully sometime summertime, like July or August. We're
Cool.
going to release
Well, thanks for the inside track. Eric, thank you so much.
Appreciate the time.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Let's see what else we can find at Design Construction Week here at the show.
Build Show peeps, what'd you think this week? Allie?
Intense, exciting stuff out there.
It was a pretty big deal. Stephanie?
Super innovative, lots of great new products.
It really was. CJ, what'd you think, dude?
My feet hurt. But all the new stuff, I mean, the groundbreaking stuff that we don't get to see every day, that's why we come here.
I know, it's a big deal. And how about the Build Show fans, y'all? It was pretty wild, wasn't it? We met a lot of people. We signed a lot of hats. We had a lot of fun.
It was great.
It was a really fun week. Thanks for joining me, guys. If y'all don't know all the Build Show contributors, man, we got 15 of us shooting videos on our job sites literally around the country. We got some amazing people. Go follow these guys on social. They're on Instagram almost every day, and every week they're posting new stuff to thebuildshow.com. Hit that subscribe button below. You know we've got new content every Tuesday and every Friday. I just realized my voice is almost gone, isn't it? I'm at like 25% of voice.
You're doing all right.
That's what I sound like. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Follow us on TikTok or Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.